from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello and welcome to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Update. My name is Todd David Goldfinger. Here's today's top stories. Face to face by video. President Joe Biden laid out to Chinese President Xi Jinping on Friday the stiff consequences the Chinese would face from the U.S. if they provide military or economic assistance for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. There was no indication he got any assurance in return. In fact, Xi blamed the U.S. for the crisis and insisted with a Chinese proverb that the next move was up to Biden. In quotes, "He who tied the bell to the tiger must take it off," end quotes, Xi said, according to a Chinese government readout. More formally, after the nearly 2-hour conversation, China's foreign ministry deplored conflict and confrontation as not in anyone's interest. It's true. End quotes there. But assigned no blame to Russia and said nothing of next steps at the White House. Press Secretary Jen Psaki said, in quotes, "China has to make a decision for themselves about where they want to stand and how they want the history books to look at them and view their actions," end quotes. She declined to detail possible consequences Biden specified to the Chinese president if his country provides support for the Russian invasion. Next news. Fire crews in Texas hope to make progress Saturday against a massive complex of wildfires that have killed one person and burned at least 50 homes. Officials said winds were expected to diminish on Saturday, raising hopes for the attack on the flames, said Angel Lopez, a spokesman for the task force attacking the wildfire complex near Eastland, about 120 miles west of Dallas. However, gusty winds were expected to return Sunday, again raising the wildfire threat to critical levels. In western and central Texas, he said. At a news conference in Eastland, Governor Greg Abbott said late Friday that at least 50 homes had been destroyed by flame, with more possibly to be found. He declared a disaster in the 11 counties hardest hit by the wildfires. The Texas A&M Forest Service has warned that fires could also affect parts of Oklahoma and Kansas, and Nebraska warned of an extreme fire risk. The Eastland County Sheriff's Office released more details on the death of Deputy Sergeant Barbara Fenley. In a statement, the office said she was going door to door, getting residents to evacuate their homes Thursday, and it was, in quotes, last heard that she was going to check on an elderly individual, end quotes. Next news. Pope Francis released his long-awaited reform program of the Holy See bureaucracy on Saturday that envisages greater decision-making roles for the laity and gives new institutional weight to efforts to fight clerical sex abuse. The 54-page text titled, in quotes, Predicate Evangelium, or Proclaiming the Gospel, end quotes, replaces the founding constitution, in quotes, Pastor Bonus, end quotes, that was penned by St. John Paul II in 1988. Francis was elected Pope in 2013, in large part on his promise to reform the bulky and inefficient Vatican bureaucracy, which acts as the organ of central governance for the 1.3 billion strong Catholic Church. He named a cabinet of cardinal advisors who have met periodically since his election to help him draft the changes. Much of the reform work has been rolled out piecemeal over the years, okay, with offices consolidated and financial reforms issued. But publication of the new document, now only in Italian, finalizes the process and puts it into effect in June. The document was released Saturday, the 9th anniversary of Francis's installation as Pope and the feast of St. Joseph, an important figure to Francis's ministry. Next news. Once a lavish mansion, the sprawling home of an Iraqi Kurdish oil tycoon was laid to waste in a barrage of missiles that struck near a U.S. consulate complex in the northern Iraqi city of Erbil earlier this week. Iran's powerful Revolutionary Guard said it launched the attack last Saturday, firing off 12 cruise missiles at what it described as a, in quotes, strategic center, end quotes, of the Israeli spy agency Mossad, in retaliation for an Israeli strike in Syria that killed 2 of the Iranian paramilitary forces members that previous week. Baz Karim Barzinji, CEO of the Iraqi Kurdish oil company KAR Group, denies any links to Mossad. The missiles gutted his beautiful home, but he says he is grateful that his family was unharmed. The consulate was undamaged and no injuries were reported in the attack. The United States said it did not believe it was the target, but the barrage marked a significant escalation between the U.S. and Iran. Hostility between the longtime foes has often played out in Iraq, whose government is allied with both countries. Barzanji pointed to a large crater where once his home office stood as he took the Associated Press on a tour of the ruins on Friday. The tycoon, his wife, and two teenage children were visiting a nearby farm when the attack took place, he said. We're going to take a short break from the daily English global news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Update. Here's a continuation of today's top stories. The signs are abundant of how Ukraine frustrated Vladimir Putin's hopes for a swift victory and how Russia's military proved far from ready for the fight. A truck carrying Russian troops crashes, its doors blown open by a rocket-propelled grenade. Foreign supplies drones target Russian command posts. Orthodox priests in trailing vestments parade Ukraine's blue and yellow flag in defiance of their Russian captors in the occupied city of Berdyansk. Russia has lost hundreds of tanks, many left charred or abandoned among the roads, and its death toll is on a pace to outstrip that of the country's previous military campaigns in recent years. Yet more than 3 weeks into the war, with Putin's initial aim of an easy change in government in Kiev long gone, Russia's military still has a strong hand. With their greater might and stockpile of city-flattening munitions, Russian forces can fight on for whatever the Russian president may plan next, whether leveraging a negotiated settlement or simply brute destruction, military analysts say. Next news. That was the tally. Unimaginable in today's hyperpolarized environment by which the Senate made Sandra Day O'Connor the first woman on the Supreme Court. Such a lopsided result is certainly not in the cards for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, who would be the first black woman to serve on the Supreme Court if she wins Senate confirmation after hearings that begin Monday. Democrats, who hold a Senate majority by virtue of the tie-breaking vote of Vice President Kamala Harris, all appear to be on board to support Jackson and could confirm her without a single Republican vote. Most Republicans, who largely opposed Jackson's confirmation to a federal court's appeals last year, are expected to vote against her again. Both nominations resulted from pledges that presidents made on the campaign trail. President Joe Biden sought to revive his flagging campaign by promising to put a black woman on the court. President Ronald Reagan, seeking to soften his conservative edges, said he would pry open the doors to the exclusive men's club that was the Supreme Court for its first 192 years. Okay. Yeah. Next news. Black people who wear hairstyles like afros, cornrows, or tightly coiled twists should not face bias in society, school, and workplace. The U.S. House said Friday in voting to make it explicit that such discrimination is a violation of federal civil rights law, in quotes. There are folks in this society who thinks because your hair is kinky, it is braided, it is in knots, or it is not straightened, blonde, and light brown, that you somehow are not worthy of access, end quotes. Democratic Rep. Bonnie Watson Coleman, the lead sponsor of the bill, said during debate on the House floor, in quotes, well, that's discrimination, end quotes. The House voted 235 to 189 to prohibit discrimination on the basis of hair texture and hairstyle. The bill now goes to the Senate, where its fate is uncertain. President Joe Biden has already said he would sign the bill, known as the Crown Act, into law. All but 14 Republicans voted against the measure, calling it unnecessary and distraction. They said protections against hair discrimination already exist in several federal laws. In quotes. This is what the Democrats are focused on, end quotes, said Ohio Republican Rep. Jim Jordan. In quotes. 14 months of chaos, and we're doing a bill on hair, end quotes. Doesn't get it. Next news. Next news, please. Next news. Alaska Rep. Don Young, who was the longest serving Republican in the history of the U.S. House, has died. He was 88. His office announced Young's death in a statement Friday night, in quotes. It's with heavy hearts and deep sadness that we announce Congressman Don Young, Republican from Arkansas, the Dean of the House, and revered champion for Alaska, passed away today while traveling home to Alaska to be with the state and the people he loved. His beloved wife, Anne, was by his side, end quotes. Said the statements from Young's congressional office, a cause of death was not provided. Young's office said details about plans for a celebration of Young's life were expected in the coming days. Young, who was first elected to the U.S. House in 1973, was known for his brusque style. In his later years in office, his off-color comments and gaffes sometimes overshadowed his work. During his 2014 re-election bid, he described himself as intense and less than perfect, but said he wouldn't stop fighting for Alaska. Alaska has just one House member, born on June 9th, 1933, in Meridian, California. Young grew up on a family farm. He earned a bachelor's degree in teaching at Chico State College, now known as California State University, Chico, in 1958. He also served in the U.S. Army, according to his official biography. We're going to take a short break from the daily English news of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. You heard?
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello, and welcome back to Millennium News TV 24/7 Global News Update. Here's a continuation of today's top stories. Thanks for being with us. President Joe Biden's campaign to unite the globe against the Russian invasion of Ukraine is being challenged not only by adversaries such as China, but also by the world's most populous democracy, India. An Indian government official said Friday that the country will increase its exports of Russian oil, allowing it to boost energy supplies at a discount price as its economy struggles to recover from the coronavirus pandemic. The official, who was not authorized to talk to reporters, imagine that, spoke on the condition of anonymity, said the latest purchase was 3 million barrels. Although India isn't alone in buying Russian energy, several European allies, such as Germany, have continued to do so. The decision conflicts with Biden's efforts to isolate Russia's economy with sanctions. The increased flow of oil could further strain the relationship between Washington and New Delhi, which has already been tested by India's recent procurement of advanced Russian air defense systems. Next news. A former Tennessee state senator expelled from office after conviction for using federal grant money on wedding expenses instead of the nursing school she operates, was sentenced Friday to a year probation, but no prison time. People. Katrina Robinson, who faced 4 to 10 months in prison under sentencing guidelines after she was found guilty in September of 2 counts of wire fraud in Memphis federal court. But U.S. District Judge Cheryl H. Whitman departed from the guidelines at sentencing, saying Robinson had already suffered greatly, and the Memphis community would gain no benefit from prison time for the nursing school administrator, community leader, and mother of two. Elected to represent Memphis District in the state Senate in 2018. She was removed from office last month by the Republican-led Senate in a vote along party lines. The criminal case against Robinson involved federal grant money for a school for healthcare workers she started running before she was elected to public office. In July 2020, prosecutors accused Robinson of paying personal expenses for more than $600,000 US in federal grant money awarded to the Healthcare Institute, which trains nurses and focuses on helping low-income minority students. She was ultimately convicted of only 2 of the 20 counts involving about $3,400 US in wedding expenses in 2016. Thank you. Next news. 22-month-old Yiva Yakulenko had been through 4 rounds of chemotherapy for leukemia at a hospital in Ukraine and then suffered a relapse. As she began returning again for more treatment, Russia invaded, disrupting doctors' efforts to cure her. Air raids forced the toddler to shelter in the basement of the hospital in the western city of Lviv for hours at a time, making her feel even worse. She cried a lot and sought comfort from her grandmother, who was caring for her after her parents were in an accident that left her mother disabled with brain and leg injuries. So when doctors told Yiva's grandmother that they could evacuate to Poland, she seized the chance. In quotes, "It is very difficult for children to go somewhere in the middle of the night and sit in the basement for a long time," end quotes, said Nadia Kreminich as she held her granddaughter, whose sweet-natured smiles gave no hint of the ordeal she endured. Quotes, "We were told that she was in stable condition and we should try to go. Otherwise, she is simply doomed to death," end quotes, the grandmother said. The little girl, who her grandmother says understands everything, is one of more than 400 Ukrainian children with cancer who have been evacuated to a clinic in Poland. Doctors then placed them in one of some 200 hospitals in 28 countries. Next news! Next news! Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has called on the Swiss government to freeze the bank accounts of all Russian oligarchs. Swiss public broadcaster SRF reported that Zelensky, who spoke via live stream on Saturday to thousands of anti-war protesters in the Swiss city of Bern, said, in quotes, "In your banks are the funds of people who unleashed this war. Help to fight this so that their funds are frozen. It would be good to take away those privileges from them. End quotes. Zelensky could be seen on a big screen, sitting behind a desk, wearing a short-sleeved camouflage t-shirt. His speech was dubbed into German when he called for the blocking of oligarchs' accounts. Great applause erupted. SRF also reported that the Ukrainian president criticized the Swiss multinational food conglomerate Nestle, which has decided not to withdraw from Russia for the time being, as opposed to many other international companies like McDonald's, Adidas, and many others. In a speech on Saturday, Chinese Vice President Minister Li Yucheng criticized the far-reaching Western sanctions imposed on Russia after it invaded Ukraine and said the root cause of the war in Ukraine, in quotes, rise in the Cold War mentality and power politics, end quotes, echoing a Kremlin talking point. The Chinese envoy said, if NATO's, in quotes, enlargement goes further, it would be approaching the outskirts of Moscow, whatever that means, where a missile could hit the Kremlin within 7 or 8 minutes. Okay, end quotes. In quotes, pushing a major country, especially a nuclear power, to the corner would entail repercussions too dreadful to contemplate, end quotes, he said. We're going to take a short break from the daily English global news update of Millennium News TV 24/7. Please stay with us. Thank you so much.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Hello and welcome back to Millennium TV's Global News Update. Here's the rest of today's news. Thanks for being with us. Gail Berman and Lucy Fisher were both Hollywood veterans when they were elected as co-presidents of the Producers Guild of America in June 2018. But while both had overseen big studios, films, and television shows, nothing could have prepared them for what they'd encounter in their 4 years in office with the PGA, including the Me Too revolution, the Black Lives Matter protests of 2020, and the COVID-19 pandemic. in quotes. We didn't know each other when this shotgun marriage was formed, in quotes, formed. Imagine that. Berman said, in quotes, but we sort of joined hands and said, in quotes, let's try our best to move this forward, end quotes. And we've had the best time with each other. It was definitely more than we'd ever considered when we said yes. But I will say that we're leaving with our heads high, held high, a lot of pride for the organization and what the organization has been able to accomplish in a difficult, difficult time, end quotes. Before they bid farewell to their co-presidency, they will celebrate Saturday night at the 33rd PGA Awards in Los Angeles. The untelevised show gives awards to producers of films. Nominees include, in quotes, The Power of the Dog, in quotes, Coda and Dune, and the television shows from Ted Lasso to Squid Game. And they'll also be honoring the likes of George Lucas, Kathleen Kennedy, Issa Rae, the film Dune, producer Mary Parent, Greg Berlanti, and Rita Moreno. Next news! China's national health authorities reported 2 COVID-19 deaths on Saturday. The first recorded rise in the death toll since January 2021, as the country battles an Omicron-driven surge. The deaths both in northeastern Jilin province bring the country's coronavirus death toll to 4,638. China reported 2,157 new COVID-19 cases from community transmission on Saturday, with the majority in Jilin. The province had instituted a travel ban, with people needing permission from police to travel across borders. China has continued to impose a successful, if often burdensome, zero COVID strategy since the initial outbreak in Wuhan. The strategy focuses, it was 2019, the strategy focuses on mass testing and strict lockdowns, with residents banned from leaving their homes until all new cases are either found in quarantine or through contact tracing. Like that. In practice, it means the country has seen relatively few infections from the virus because clusters are tamped down as quickly as they're discovered. Strategy has received popular support and prevented the large numbers of deaths seen in other countries, many of which started to forgo any kind of social distancing measures. With China now facing its worst outbreak since late 2019, officials have vowed to double down on the zero tolerance strategy to contain this current surge. However, China's leader Xi Jinping acknowledged for the first time the burden of the measures on Thursday, saying that China should seek, in quotes, maximum effect, end quotes, with minimum cost, end quotes, in controlling the virus. China had recorded 4,636 deaths since the pandemic began in the central city of Wuhan in late 2019. It revised its death toll once in April 2020, adding in new deaths that were not initially counted, as the pandemic overwhelmed the city's hospitals and other systems. Mainland China's COVID-19 data is counted separately from that in Hong Kong, which is a special administrative region in China and is facing a much larger outbreak with a higher death toll. Next news, please. In the oil fields of northern Montana, industry veteran Mac McDermott watched crude oil prices whipsaw from 75 US dollars a barrel in January to more than 120 US dollars a barrel as Russia pressed its war into Ukraine. Then down again when coronavirus worries in China raised the specter of a global slowdown. McDermott said his family-owned company will modestly increase drilling if oil prices stabilize. But for the next few months, he's waiting on the sidelines and struggling to get enough workers to watch over roughly 100 oil wells the company operates. That includes some wells idled during the pandemic that he's trying to bring online since last year. President Joe Biden's move to ban Russian oil imports over its invasion of Ukraine was met with Republican demands to boost U.S. production to address high gasoline prices. The White House, too, called for more drilling and cited the war as it shelved Biden's campaign pledge to curb drilling on public lands because of climate change. Next news, please. Stocks recovered from an early slide on Wall Street and closed broadly higher Friday, notching their biggest weekly gain in 16 months. The S&P 500 rose for the fourth straight day, adding 1.2% to a streak that included back-to-back days with gains of 2%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.8%, while the Nasdaq Composite rose 2%. The three indexes each had their best week since November 2020. This week's market rally came as Wall Street drew encouragement from the Federal Reserve, which announced its first interest rate hike since 2018 and signaled several more to come. The move, which had been widely expected for months by the market, sends a message that the central bank is focused on fighting the highest inflation in decades. Fed Chair Jerome Powell also stressed confidence that the economy is strong enough to withstand higher interest rates. The Fed's action and economic outlook helped give markets a better sense of what to expect going forward, said Bill Northey, Senior Investment Director at U.S. Bank wealth management. This has been the daily global news update of Millennium News TV 24/7. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for watching. Log in to get the latest news on all of our social networking sites. We're talking about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Yes, we're on TikTok. If you go on TikTok, we are Millennium News 24. 2 L's, 2 N's. Also, our YouTube channel is News Channel M24. Viewers, leave a comment, subscribe, and like if you can. Now on both network broadcasting, Android, and iOS devices, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV. Also, all smart TV platforms. Please enjoy our entertainment and latest news, views, current events, editorials, and shows on Millennium TV. Check out our Millennium TV apps. Check out all of them. Millennium TV, US Android, Millennium News Google, and if you go on the web, we are www.millenniumnews24.com. Please stay with Millennium News 24. Thank you. God bless.